Look at my hands. I can't keep them fucking still.
Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and I'm joined by...
It's Vinny, and we're bringing you another professional review today.
Yes, indeed. Bethesda, you didn't think they'd have bad PR on a week where they had such a loving conference, but then they brought out this again. And I mean, we gotta talk about it.
Really making good use of this trash can.
Yeah, man, this desk is great. It's got everything you could need to make impromptu jokes. So, Bethesda seems to be barring off the reselling of games not used, which was the original headline for a lot of websites out there, but rather when you're on eBay or you're an individual seller on Amazon, they don't want you doing that. The following information comes from Polygon.com. Hey, Vin, you want to read the first paragraph?
Sure, I feel like I'm in science class right now. Bethesda Softworks may be seeking to rein in sales of secondhand games online. Bethesda recently sent out a notice to at least one seller on Amazon's marketplace who is trying to sell a sealed copy of The Evil Within 2 as new, demanding that they remove their listing. That letter included a phone number for sellers of Bethesda's games to call, suggesting that the company is sending out such notices to multiple sellers.
Philadelphia-based Ryan Hupp recently contacted Polygon to explain how he'd been forced by Bethesda to stop selling his copy of The Evil Within 2. He bought the game but never unwrapped it, he told us. He'd been expecting to purchase a PlayStation 4 but instead spent his money on an upgraded gaming PC. Hupp said that he often sells used goods through Amazon's marketplace, which works in much the same way as other online trading sites such as eBay.
Bethesda's legal firm Voice sent Hupp a letter which he forwarded to Polygon, warning that the game must be taken down and threatening legal action for non-compliance. In its letter, Voice made the argument that Hupp's sale was not by an authorized reseller and was therefore unlawful. Bethesda also took issue with Hupp's use of the word new in selling the unwrapped game, claiming that this constituted false advertising. How do you read?
Hupp complied with the demand, but in a reply to Voris, he pointed out that the resale of used copyright goods, such as books, video games, DVDs, is protected in U.S. law through the first sale doctrine. This allows consumers to sell a game so long as it's not significantly altered from its original form. Bethesda's letter claims that Hupp's sale is not protected by the first sale doctrine because he is not selling the game in its original form, which would include a warranty. The letter says that the lack of a warranty renders the game materially different from genuine products that are sold through official channels. In theory, this argument could be used against anyone who sells a game without specific permission from Bethesda.
Unless you remove all Bethesda products from your storefront, stop selling any and all Bethesda products immediately, and identify all sources of Bethesda products you are selling. We intend to file a lawsuit against you, the letter reads. It goes on to state that a lawsuit would seek disgorgement of profits, compensatory damages, attorney fees, investigative and other costs. Hupp's specific listing appears to have been targeted because it was listed as new and unopened. Amazon still lists dozens of used and new copies of The Evil Within 2 from marketplace sellers.
When contacted by Polygon, Bethesda declined to comment on this story. We also asked for clarification on how the company's warranties work on used and secondhand goods sold through official channels. GameStop, for example, offers a blanket 30-day warranty on used games that do not work so long as the game has not been broken by the buyers. We also contacted Voris for comment multiple times but did not receive a reply. Amazon's publicity department also did not respond to a request for comment.
On its website, Voris offers advice for companies seeking to eliminate the sale of products via places like eBay in an article titled 3-Step Approach to Stopping Unauthorized Online Sales on eBay. Here's an excerpt. Under what is known as the first sale doctrine, once a trademark owner, the company, sells a product, the buyer ordinarily can resell the product without infringing the owner's mark. However, the first sales doctrine does not apply when a reseller sells a trademarked good that is materially different from the company's genuine goods. Case law has established a few important principles relating to material differences. This includes that 1. The threshold of materiality is considered low. 2. Only a single material difference is necessary to give rise to a trademark infringement claim. And 3. Material differences do not have to be physically different.
Quite the read. Thank you for staying with us that whole time.
I feel like we were on Channel News.
I know, right, man? But let's dissect this whole thing. So we have a business that is trying to stop the reselling of a brand new packaged game just because it doesn't have a warranty in it. I can understand, I'm not saying I approve of it, but I understand because they want to get a cut of it. The reason GameStop's not getting this issue is because Bethesda gets a cut from it. But how do you stand on this whole situation?
It's pretty scary to me. I mean, you don't see other companies really doing this, and I think this kind of opens up a fringe for other companies to join in and be like, hey, we don't want you selling our used games, we want to cut, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It opens up the gates also for those cuts to be put onto the marketplace itself, where even in the free market, we see this issue of companies stepping in and demanding their part of it, which once again I kind of get. It's their product. I'm not saying I approve of it. I have to emphasize that enough because I do understand as a business. That's the thing. It's just weird because you look at QuakeCon, you look at how chill of a company one side of Bethesda is.
Absolutely.
Especially, we've been hanging out with a lot of Bethesda staff this weekend, and it's just very cool.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It doesn't feel like business. But when you're seeing this stuff, the whole legal side of Bethesda, which has notoriously sucked, I'm going to be honest. They've just always been up people's ass and constantly putting down the legal hammer on people. It's just polarizing, and it sucks in a way because you see one side working to do good PR, to try to promote positivity, to get people excited.
Absolutely.
And then you got this other side who's just like, nope, you're not going to do that.
Well, I've always been of the firm belief, once we buy the game, it's our product, right? We own it. We can do what we want from it from there. And I think a lot of gamers are of that mindset. I think when Xbox One originally came out and they were talking about putting licenses on games and you wouldn't be able to resell them, that there was an outrage from gamers. And I think if this starts to go around with other companies, I think the community will really show its
stance.
Yeah, show its stance. Yeah.
The shitty part is that there are gamers out there who don't have a lot of money, and this is their way of making money to buy more games, more of Bethesda's products too. I mean, it benefits them in a way. That money gets recycled into their pocket, and then they spend it on new products like that. I just think that it's almost neutering themselves in a way when you really think about it.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid and when I couldn't afford to buy new games, and I'd have to, dish into my used game pile to even afford to buy new games. So
exactly. So yeah, pretty much this is an issue that we hope gets resolved and that Bethesda offers comment on. Turns out while we were editing this, Pete Hines actually did offer comment on what is happening over at Bethesda, so let's get into the official response. It goes through a pretty big argument on Twitter. When asked exactly what the explanation of this move was, Pete Hines starts off by saying, "We told them not to pass it off as new, just sell it as used. We don't want people passing things off as new when we can't verify whether it's really new or not. Why does Bethesda care at all whether to verify or not if it is new? If it's sealed in the original plastic wrap it came in, it's new." Pete Hines says, "We care because it's our customer. Does it have the extras that came in the box? Is it missing stuff? Is the disc now scratched and needs to be replaced by us? Because it's our customer," in quotes. "Did you sell it? No, not your customer." And Pete goes, "Well, if they buy the game, they would/will be. If a person buys a sealed copy of The Evil Within 2 from a private seller, they are not your customer." Pete says, "Yes, they are. They are playing our game. They come to us when items are missing, when discs are messed up, etc. I can't believe you are arguing otherwise. Not your customer, it's the private seller's customer. You didn't sell it directly to the purchaser who bought from the private seller." And Pete just ends it and says, "Okay, you can believe what you want. People who buy our games are our customers no matter where they buy it. It's our product, it's our responsibility." So I know this is a frustrating matter because I do line up with Vinny on when you buy it, it's your product. But I think what Pete is trying to say here, and I don't know how well it's coming across for a lot of folks on the internet, is pretty much that if there is something wrong with the disc, if DLC is missing, when there is a problem, they're not going to go to the private seller who distributed the game to them. They're going to go to Bethesda, and then that responsibility falls on them. Does that make it understandable? Does it make this really weird move that's going on here any more reasonable? I personally do not think so. But does it add a little bit of clarity to the situation, if anything? Yeah, sure, it's good to get an official comment on it. I do feel bad to an extent because he is once again taking all the heat for what seems to be a company-wide decision. I don't think it entirely falls on just his shoulders, and I don't say that as defense, but more so as let's look at the whole company, not just him alone. Those are just our general thoughts on this whole issue because it's definitely not cool of the legal side of Bethesda, but whatever, it happens, I guess, right?
Got to get their money, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, God forbid we have morals. Anyway, that'll do it for us, and we hope you enjoyed. Be sure to fire away in the comments down below with your thoughts on this issue. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with our Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. Love you all. Peace.